Hey everyone, how's it going? So what we're going to do is carry on with this. So last time what we did is we made a call to the database which checks if there's a user with the username of this or the email of that. So if any of those two are true, or both, it would return that user to us. So last time I wrote this code down here which demonstrates how this works asynchronously. So it runs this part first, but once it starts running this, it immediately jumps to the next line of code and starts running that, and then it will come back to this part once it's done. So obviously we need to keep this in mind when writing our code. So if we didn't keep this in mind, for example, if we started checking if the user existed down here, we're going to have a problem because the database call hasn't returned yet. So we need to keep in mind that this runs asynchronously. What we can do though is use what's called async await operators. Now it will essentially do the same thing, but it will prevent us having to put all our code inside this then block. So let me show you. What I'm going to do is get rid of this then block. Okay, and what I'm going to do instead is say var user equals, and then I'm going to say await. And what this means is it will do this line of code, but it will, once it sees the await keyword, it will wait here for the result. It won't move on to the next line until this has returned. Okay, so await basically means hold your horses, don't go any further, wait until this is given back to us. And because we've put it in a variable, this variable will contain the result of this call. Okay, so in theory, this would contain the user or null if it didn't find a user. Alright, let's see. Okay, so we can try that out. So if I save that and then give it a run, you should still see helo and null like you did before, but they should be switched around. So let me just run this again. Oh yeah, I forgot to, I already know what this is. Await is only valid in an async function. So you can only use the await keyword inside of an async function, like that error suggests. What that means is we need to specify that the function this is running in is an asynchronous function. So it doesn't really make any difference as far as you're concerned, at least for how we're running the function at the moment. All you need to do is go up to here, where we've declared this function, because this function right here, if I highlight it for you, this is the function it's running in. It's an anonymous function, which means it doesn't have a function name. We've just declared it inline like this. But all we need to do to allow this to run is to say async before the function declaration. Okay, so that alone just tells it that this is an async function. Now when I save that and try and run this, it's all going to be great. So it works, happy days. Database connection successful. Let's go back to here now and refresh the page. I'm going to resubmit it, which will basically send all the same data that I did before. So what's it doing? It's doing something. Let me go back to here. So we see helo, but we didn't actually see any... we didn't actually do anything with this. I meant to log this, so that's my bad. We're supposed to... I meant to log this right here. Console.log user... just to demonstrate that this runs in the same in the same order. So I've restarted that now, and if I do that again instead, we should now see null and then helo. So it just demonstrates what I was saying, how it's waiting here for it to return before going on to the next lines. The reason we know that works is because previously it did this and immediately jumped to the helo part, whereas now it's doing it in order like this. Okay? So that's a real simple explanation of the async await operators. They behave in the same sort of ways that promises do, in the sense that you can control the code flow. But all you need to know is that when we see the await operator, it will essentially wait for this. It will essentially wait for this operation to complete.